is what car reviews look like in New York City. Dead stop. And we're off. God damn it. Might notice it's pretty dark out. That's because it's really early in the morning. That's because I want to go for a drive, but I live in New York. Think of this city like a grand experiment by the world's greatest minds, but they gave it to a negligent drunk to manage. So anything that's not actively broken is just annoying. So it's traffic and terrible roads. And I have this McLaren 570S. And that thing deserves more than sitting in traffic going 4 miles an hour. So that's why I'm up at the crack of dawn to get in the car and go find a good place to drive in New York. I just want to see if it's possible. It's the essential New York City question. Where do you go if you need a bit of calm? If you want to, say, just sit in your supercar and fuss with the controls, and maybe stay on the gas for more than 8 seconds at a time. Okay, so I found some peace and quiet. I actually don't even want to tell you where I am. I'm afraid traffic's going to show up. I'm actually just in a big parking lot in the Rockaways. The idea here is that, normally you have a McLaren, any McLaren, you have any car like this, you look at it and you say, look how low it is, look how aerodynamic it is, listen to the engine, that thing should be on a racetrack. And truly, it should. But most of the time they're not. And, New York is a place where a lot of people own cars like this. There's a lot of money here. A lot of bankers who stole a lot of money, etc., etc. This car, the McLaren 570S, is McLaren's entry-level car. So this is McLaren's version of a car. If you were doing the proper McLaren supercar experience, you would fly to England and you'd have somebody taking care of you to show you the car, probably some man named Nigel in a tight blue suit, I am sure, who would take you through things like the infotainment system and how to open the engine cover, which we still haven't been able to figure out how to do. I don't have a Nigel. I just sort of am in this car and have to figure it out myself. So we are now going to figure out how to adjust the seat, I suppose. I'm a little far up. So that is one thing. I don't even know if you can see this. I can't show you how to adjust the seat because I can't see how to adjust the seat. You have to shove your hands down in here, and then there are just a whole bunch of buttons, and they make no logical sense to my fingers. So I will just start. Yeah, okay, that goes back. Okay. It's got to be a reverse for that. No, this is just going. Okay, this is very uncomfortable. This is yet another button that makes the seat go. There are two buttons that make the seat go forward. Okay, there we go. Two buttons to go forward and one button to go back. And again, I can't figure out any sort of logic to it because I can't see the damn thing. That's about right. All right, so we're in drive. Parking brake is over here. And we are off. New York City is a real serious, real-world test of any car, really, but especially kind of a supercar. Even McLaren's entry-level supercar, like the 570S. I mean, everything about this says supercar. The driving experience says supercar. And the thing about supercars is they make you want to drive faster all the time. Everything is telling you, put your foot down, hear that engine noise, feel the steering, and the steering is unbelievably sharp here. You just want to push the car all the time. And that's just not what driving around here is like. So what you get inside of this car is what you expect of a McLaren. I mean, it's a supercar after all. And it very much has the supercar feel. Everything from this sort of beautiful, spindly, flat-bottomed steering wheel with the carbon fiber shifters to this just basic, wide, expanse of Alcantara, more carbon fiber bits, very, very simple interface, very simple infotainment interface, and sort of a digital gauge cluster. And really, not much else, to be honest. I mean, I was convinced that there was a glove box down here, but I looked for 20 minutes, and unless it is really well hidden, there's no glove box down there, which means the only storage you have this little armrest cubbyhole, and then you have this weird thing, which is a door-mounted sort of area where you could store, I suppose, 4 cell phones or several granola bars. And that's it. You have a cup holder up here. You have a little bit of space to put the key or a phone, I suppose. Other than that, that is all the storage you get. There is a frunk in the front. It's a little bigger than, it looks, actually. You could get a decent-sized suitcase in there. Not more than one. So, in terms of storage, you are definitely with supercar storage, which is to say, none. The ride is, on the way over, and even just now, this is just on a kind of crappy parking lot. You can really feel each and every bump, as you would expect. I mean, this is a very low car. It's a very stiff suspension. That being said, McLaren's done quite a wonderful job. In the comfort modes, this is a pretty supple ride as far as these cars go. These sports seats are going to get a little, stiff if you're putting any sort of time into a drive. After a couple hours, these are going to be uncomfortable. And really, to that point, I mean, New York is one of the places, it's one of the few places where you're going to sit in a McLaren, in a car like this, and more often than not, you are going to be thinking about a crossover. Because in a crossover, you're going to have individual climate settings. You could have massaging seats. You could have a heated steering wheel. It's going to be easy to hook up your phone and play your podcasts, which I believe you can do here. I have yet to be successful at it, but I do believe you can do it. But all that to say, it's a comfortable place to spend time just sort of sitting in traffic, not thinking about driving. I'm not sure having a car like this in a city like this makes any sense whatsoever. Now, we're going to leave the safety of the parking lot and go out into the real world. This really is a pretty wonderful car. Even in this New York car review, which is kind of the world's slowest car review, you can just tell that this is pretty special. There's a 3.2 liter twin turbo V8 in here, 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, very quick, nice shifts. This, as the Sport Series, this foregoes, damn it, these potholes are bad. The Sport Series foregoes a lot of the really fancy stuff. You don't get active aerodynamics, you don't get that trick cross-linked adaptive suspension, but what you do get is that really great engine, which, 3.2 seconds, 0 to 60, and 0 to 100 in 6.3 seconds, both of which are exactly the same as the iconic McLaren F1 car from the 90s. Exact same figures. And on top of that, you get this incredibly sporty feel, but the steering is just lovely, and the brakes, great. I mean, really, you know, they have the sort of small travel, like a lot of super high performance cars, but they're easy to modulate. You don't feel like it's sort of a binary off and on choice. You're either off brake or you're totally on brake. There's a lot of subtlety to it. And traffic, oh my God. Damn, that's a lot of traffic. This is sort of high-speed driving. Damn it, and there's a merge? Oh. There's always traffic. The traffic is always made worse by construction. And on top of that, everybody's a Well, this is it. I mean, this is sort of what the daily experience is like. When you consider that the competitors here, the Audi R8 V10, the Porsche 911 Turbo, around there in terms of price and specs, those feel like very different machines because they feel so much more like cars. They are more comfortable. They feel more like a place where you want to sit in traffic and fiddle with the infotainment, and you know, you can kind of go about your day. This feels properly super, really, in a way that those cars don't, but it comes with a compromise. It's just a different idea of a machine, but I can tell you what, I'm going, you know, 40 miles an hour on the Belt Parkway right now, and this feels every bit the supercar. I mean, if you're buying a car like this to bring it to the valet and have them fuss over you and, you know, boot somebody else's car so they can park yours in front, New York's a great place to own a supercar. If you actually like driving, if you actually want to get some open road, ring it out, and really feel what something like this McLaren can do, that takes some effort. I don't know that you can do that within 2 hours of New York City. This really, really is not a great place to own a supercar.